It was Japanese samurai, artist, and strategist Miyamoto Musashi who said, "Perception is strong and sight is weak. In strategy, it is important to see distant things as if they were close and take a distant view of close things." In this lesson, we're going to calculate the post-split outstanding shares and shares price for traditional split. We're going to calculate the post-split outstanding shares price for reverse split. And we're going to calculate the fractional value amount that a shareholder receives after a split. All to answer the question, why do corporations split stocks? Before we get into it, let's take a look at warm-up number 2. Given 1/2 of x minus 1/2 of y equals -4, we're going to write that equation. And 1/2 of x is 0.5x. Minus is, of course, minus. 1/2 of y is 0.5y and equals -4. Now, if we were going to solve this for x, then we would move the y to the other side and have 0.5x is equal to 0.5y minus 4. Now we're going to multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of this 0.5x. This is going to give us x is equal to y minus 8. Now if we're going to solve this for y, we're going to do the same thing, but going after the y's. Moving 0.5x to the other side, we get negative 0.5y is equal to negative 0.5x minus 4. Multiplying both sides by a -2 is going to give us y is equal to x plus 8. Now, let's take a look at a problem you will be able to do by the end of this lesson. Steve owned 942 shares of a manufacturing company. On January 3rd, a 5-for-4 split was announced. The stock was selling at $56 per share before the split. How was Steve financially affected by the split? So we're going to write the split as a ratio using the pre-split information to find the post-split value. This means we're looking at 5/4 times 942 to get 1,177.5. Now this is the post-split number of shares. The post-split share price, we're going to do 4/5 times the $56 per share to get $44.80. So the fractional shares are not traded. So the corporation paid him the market value of 0.5 share. The fractional part times the market price is equal to 0.5 times 44.80, meaning $22.40. So Steve received $22.40 in cash and 1,177 shares worth $44.80 each. Suppose that someone approaches you to give you 2 $10 bills in exchange for a $20 bill. That might appear to be a worthless transaction because the value of the exchange monies is the same. Having 2 $10 bills might better suit one party, and having a single $20 bill might better suit the other. This is exactly what happens when a corporation offers its shareholders a stock split. To understand what happens when stocks split, it is first necessary to understand 2 important and related terms: outstanding shares and market capitalization. The total number of shares issued by a corporation that are in investors' hands are outstanding shares. The total value of all of a company's outstanding shares is the market capitalization, or market cap. When a stock is split, a corporation changes the number of outstanding shares while at the same time it adjusts the price per share so that the market cap remains unchanged. In the opening situation, the number of bills doubled, while the value of each bill was halved. The total value of $20 remains unchanged. Why would a corporation institute a split if it is a monetary non-event? Many say the reason is perception. The psychology of a split depends on the type of split. In a traditional stock split, the value of the shares and the number of shares are changed in such a proportional way that the value decreases as the number of shares increases while the market cap remains the same. These type of splits are announced in the form of A for B, where A is greater than B. For example, one of the most common traditional splits is a 2-for-1 split. The investor gets 2 shares for every 1 share held, and the price of the share is cut in half. Although nothing has changed in the market value of the shares, the perception is that the investor sees the stock as more affordable. Investors may be attracted to this stock because the market price per share has been lowered, and they can afford to buy more shares. In a reverse split stock, the effect is just the opposite. The number of outstanding shares is reduced and the market price per share is increased. As the price per share increases, the investor perception that the stock is worth more. This often happens to stocks known as penny stocks, whose value is less than $5 per share. To increase the perceived value, the corporation may increase the price per share while at the same time decreasing the number of shares outstanding. This type of split is in the form of A for B, where A is less than B. For example, a 1-for-2 split, the investor holding shares would now own 1 share for every 2 previously held. The price for that share would have doubled. The market capitalization remains the same. The saying, perception is reality, holds true for the stock market. Although stock splits may not initially alter the value of shares held, the perception change may lead to increase in sales and market price. Here you learn how to interpret and calculate stock splits. On April 9th, Starbucks Corporation instituted a 2-for-1 stock split. Before the split, the market share was $95.30 per share. The corporation held 749 million shares outstanding. What was the pre-split market cap for Starbucks? The market cap before the split is determined by multiplying the number of outstanding shares by the market price. So if we have 749 million, we can multiply that by $95.30 to get $71,379,700,000. That's the pre-market cap. Let's check our understanding of this. A corporation has a market capitalization of $24 billion with 250 million outstanding shares. Calculate the price per share. So if we have 24 billion and we divide that value by the number of shares that are outstanding, we wind up with really 2,400 divided by 25. Which is $96 per share. Now let's calculate the post-split outstanding shares and share prices for a reverse split. On April 9th, Starbucks instituted a 2-for-1 stock split. Before the split, the market share was $93.50, and the corporation had 749 million shares outstanding. What was the post-split number of shares outstanding for Starbucks from example 1? So we're going to use a proportion to determine the number of shares outstanding and the shares available. Now, we know we had a 2-for-1 split, and this is going to be equal to X divided by 749 million. This means that when I multiply 2 by the 749 million, I'm going to get 1,498,000,000 shares, or 1.498 billion shares outstanding. Let's check our understanding of this. QualComm Inc. instituted a 4-for-1 split in November. After the split, Elena owned 12,800 shares. How many shares had she owned before the split? Well, if we do the same thing, but we do now 4 over 1, and this is going to be equal to X over 12,800. So when we multiply 4 by 12,800, we're going to get 3,200. That's how many shares she had before the split. What was the post-split market price per share for Starbucks from example 1, and how many shares are outstanding? Did the market cap change after the split? So there was that 2-for-1 split, and for new share price, they're going to be 1/2 the original share, meaning 1/2 of $95.30, which gives us $47.65. In a 2-for-1 split, the number of shares are doubled. So now there are 2 times 749 million shares, which gives us 1.498 billion shares. If we multiply 47.65 times 1.498 billion, we get 71,379,700,000, which is the same as it was before the split. Let's check our understanding. In October, Johnson Controls Inc. instituted a 3-for-1 split. After the split, the price of one share was $39.24. What was the pre-split price per share? Well, we know it was a 3-for-1 split, and it has X dollars. It was $39.24 after the split. So if we take $39.24, multiply it by 3, we get $117.72 as the pre-split price per share. In general, in any A for B split, you can apply the following formula. Post-split numbers of shares is equal to A over B times the pre-split number of shares. And the post-split share price is equal to B over A times the pre-split share price. Now let's calculate post-split outstanding shares and share prices. On May 9th, Citigroup instituted a 1-for-10 reverse stock split. Before the split, the market share was $4.48. There were 29 billion shares. What was the post-split share price and number of shares? So we're going to write the 10-for-1 reverse split as the ratio 1/10. And the post-split number of shares is going to be equal to A over B times the pre-split price. So we're going to take that 1/10, multiply it by 29 billion shares. This is going to give us 2,900,000,000 shares. Now, the post-split share price would be B over A times the pre-split share price. So 10 over 1 times $4.48, which is going to give us $44.80. After the split, there were 2.9 billion shares outstanding, with each having a value of $44.80. Notice that the pre-split market cap, 29 billion times $4.48, and the post-split market cap, 2.9 billion times $44.80, both equal 129,920,000,000. Let's check our understanding of this. A major drugstore chain whose stocks are traded in the New York Stock Exchange was considering a 2-for-5 reverse split. If the pre-split market cap was 1.71 billion, what would be the post-split market cap? Well, 1.71 billion. You might be tempted to do some calculations here, but we want to remember that regardless of the number of stocks and their value, the market cap before or after a split will remain the same. Let's extend our understanding. Suppose that before a stock split, a share was selling for $2.35. After the split, the price was $7.05 per share. What was the stock split ratio? Well, if it ended at $7.05 and we divide that by 2.35, we need to know what would that ratio be, and it's some number for 1. 7.05 divided by 2.35 is 3, so we wind up with a 3-to-1 split. The previous examples had shares that could be split into whole number amounts. In reality, this may not be the case. Often a split would create a fractional part of a share. In other words, there is less than one share remaining. When this happens, the corporation buys the fractional share at the current market price. Now, let's calculate the fractional value amount that a shareholder would receive after a split. Steve owned 942 shares of a manufacturing company. On January 3rd, a 5-for-4 split was announced. The stock was selling at $56 per share before the split. How was Steve financially affected by the split? So we're going to write the split as a ratio using the pre-split information to find the post-split value. This means we're looking at 5/4 times 942 to get 1,177.5. Now this is the post-split number of shares. The post-split share price, we're going to do 4/5 times the $56 per share to get $44.80. So the fractional shares are not traded. So the corporation paid him the market value of 0.5 share. The fractional part times the market price is equal to 0.5 times 44.80, meaning $22.40. So Steve received $22.40 in cash and 1,177 shares worth $44.80 each. Let's check our understanding. Gabriella owned 1,045 shares of Hollow Zee Corp at a price of $62.79. The stock split 3-for-2. How was Gabriella financially affected by the split? Well, 3/2 times her number of shares of 1,045 will give us 1,567.5, but we have that half share left over. So 2/3 times 62.79 would be $41.86 per share. But remember, they're only getting that half a share, so we multiply that by 0.05. which is $20.93. So Gabriella received 1,567 shares and was refunded for the overage of that half share, $20.93.